I get emails about it, so I imagine it's working. Okay, I will share my screen and we'll go through this one by one. All right, so let's go through how George works fundamentally first before the market opens. He is effectively a signaling service, right? So he is watching hundreds of tickers right now. I think there's 330 that he watches, which is why he opened like 100 positions yesterday. That shouldn't happen anymore, but we'll see how it goes. The other thing George does really well, which I like, is the way that I trade is I just mark out different levels, right? And if anyone's from Owls, you already know this. This is how I trade. Like I just look at where there's liquidity because ultimately liquidity is really what matters. And I'll try to talk slowly because I know I talk fast. But liquidity is all that matters if you're a market maker, right? If you're moving $1 billion or $2 billion or whatever the number is, you need to figure out how to get that liquidity so you can move the market in your favor, right? And typically what market makers do, so I'm talking about like Wall Street, hedge funds, big institutions, is they'll try to liquidate as many retail investors as possible to grab their liquidity before they can move in the opposite direction, right? And a good example of that is actually here. So what happened yesterday, like everyone who went long or wanted to short really had their stop losses around here, right? So if I took a long, right, if I took a call option or if I'm taking a long on futures, then my stop loss is in this red area. My green is my target, right? So this is where I would take profit if I was an investor. And so yesterday, what happened? We rated a lot of liquidity, not just from here, but anyone who ever went long, like right around here, they've stopped them out. And so they've got all this liquidity now to move into the opposite direction. So when they've rated one side, that's what's called, when they've rated the zone for liquidity, you're more likely to move up, which is why I got those 692 calls yesterday. And they ended up going from, what do we get them at, like $87 or whatever? They ended up going up to like $220, right? So I held that. I knew that we were going to go up yesterday. I know not everyone held or got stopped out. Totally fine. It's a learning experience. But the reality is I knew that because they had all this liquidity, you're not going to be able to go further down. I mean, you could, unless it's like something crazy happens, like war or more tariffs get announced or whatever that is. But it's unlikely to happen because markets fundamentally are bullish, right? Earnings are always getting better. More companies are getting better at how they track optimizations for profit, losses, et cetera. And we know generally this week earnings have been really good, if not exceptional. And because of AI and LLMs and all this other stuff, like cost optimizations are through the roof and demand for everything, including energy, memory, storage, gold, silver, different commodities are going up. So to me, okay, I'm going to be permanently bullish until the trend changes, until demand dies down, until capital expenditure dies down, or fundamentally there's like a war or another tariff threat that we saw in February, March, and April last year, right? So, okay, we know that market makers have grabbed a bunch of liquidity over the last couple of days, and especially yesterday, right? So everyone who went long basically this week ended up getting stopped out, whether you're an institutional retail investor, doesn't matter. This was, to me, a really nice and healthy drop in order to move the market upwards, right? So that's my bias. So that's how I trade. And so what George does is he automates everything that I know about trading, which I've learned over the last year since starting trading in February 2025. And it looks at where there's key levels, right? So on the left, you'll see, okay, if they swept these two zones, 667, 686, maybe 652, you're going to go up, right? And the magnet right now is sell side, so you're going to be gravitating towards the 693.57 area, right? And guess what? There's a bunch of stop losses there or liquidity. Whoever went short over the last day has what? There's stop losses up here. So you're going to get these guys out of the market first, go down a little bit more, and then go back up, right? Because that's ultimately how these markets work. So that's how George fundamentally operates. He looks at where are there layers of liquidity, where are there zones that I can better understand, where sweeps are likely to happen, so we can grab the opposite direction, right? So if you're sweeping lows here, you're going to go back up. If you're sweeping the highs, you're going to go back down. And that's just fundamentally how markets work, right? And if I look at on the daily, like you're clearly in an uptrend. You've been in an uptrend for the whole, past year. So I'd be very hesitant unless I'm hedging. Personally, if I'm hedging towards a downside, I'll be taking on put positions maybe a week out, or 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, whatever the number is. But they'll be relatively out of the money, right? Because if you're going to be shorting, you're looking at this target effectively, right? So 684, 680, maybe even 679. And so until we lose support on here below 685, I think it is. Where's the put wall and call wall? Your put wall is 681. Your call wall is 902 on SPY, right? Now, I love trading SPY. That's my bread and butter. I trade other things that George does, but I'm very comfortable with the risk, right? To me, if I lose $1,000 a day, I'd be like, cool, no big deal. I'll make it up the next time. If you're managing a smaller portfolio, it's much harder to take that kind of loss, right? So you're buying 1 or 2 contracts, whereas I'm buying 10 or 20 on average. But the thing is, I'm not waiting for 100% return in order to make that trade be worthwhile. I'm happy with 5-10% gains, because if I have 10 contracts and I get a 10% gain, I have one free runner. I can sell 9 of them and have one free runner that can go up 500%, 200%, 300%, whatever the number is, or it could go to 0. I'm not worried because I've got my principal and I've got some kind of return on that principal when I'm buying 10 to 20 contracts. When I first started, I was only doing 1 or 2 trades or 1 or 2 contracts. It was much harder because I had to figure out, do I want to take the win at 10%, 20%, or do I want to hold and pray that this hits 100%, right? So if I'm starting off with $100 and I'm praying that this hits 100% and I get $200 out of it, yeah, that can happen. That happens more often than not. But are you okay with going to 0 on that, right? And if the answer is no, don't risk it. Either take the win at 10%, 20%, whatever the number is, or buy more contracts so you can get to those free runners. Any questions before I continue? Frosty, is that you? I'm going to mute you. All right, he muted himself. Excellent. Okay, so we know the market's bullish. We know that there are some liquidity zones that George automatically determines, because otherwise you're going to be spending 20 minutes on a chart looking at it and seeing what the hell's going on, right? And so today George is bullish, and I think he's actually right, because we've rated a bunch of liquidity yesterday. You're likely going to go up. And then the other thing you could layer in is pattern recognition, right? I do this a lot. I'm like, okay, is it a head and shoulder? Potentially, right? You might have a left shoulder, you might have a head here, you might have a right shoulder, and then you might go down. Could happen. I have no idea. But the opposite is also true. You could also have like a left inverse shoulder, inverse head, and a right inverse head, right inverse shoulder, sorry, and then go up, right? So we're in this zone right now where I don't know what's going to happen. No one knows what's going to happen. News could hit any time that, the U.S. is striking Iran, or there's new tariffs. There's a new Fed chair that's coming through. So no idea how news will operate. But fundamentally, we can only trade what we see, right? And I'm comfortable with the risk where I can deploy like $1,000, $10,000, a few months out. And, for the most part, I'm okay losing that or not losing that. And there it goes, it's going up. So George was right to be bullish, at least in the first, 5-minute candle. And I'm okay with taking those losses because I know for the most part, I'm going to be able to make that back or figure out some other way of doing that, right? So my long-term portfolio, which is what is on the right, and I'll go to the trades on my own brokerage in my small George portfolio to just show you guys how it works. I'm okay with those losses. So I can stomach a loss, no problem, fundamentally have zero emotions tied to the trading money that I have here because I don't care. There's always other trades, right? And so George was saying, hey, buy 693 calls. I think he said them this morning. He's looking at calls. Oh, I got to reload this. I just realized. I think you're buying calls all morning, 692C, 693C. I think he was right? So you could use this as confluence. I know that the chart looked pretty bullish. George is already watching calls I know these are 2 days out, but it works the same way if it's 2 days out or 0 days out, whatever. You're bullish to the upside right now. We just got to wait for the trigger. The trigger could be, hey, they might, fake us out here because the first hour is all retail investors. They might actually fake us out and go down a little bit before going up, or they might pump a little bit higher and then go back down, right? So we'll see. We got to watch. And I don't typically trade at open. I want to wait at least 5-10 minutes before I take one trade because the first 15-minute candle has a lot of manipulation. That's when volume is the highest. That's when every retail investor like you and I are looking at our charts, looking at George, looking at our brokerage, trying to figure out what the move might be today, right? And so that's when the volume is the highest and you're able to use George for confluence for where he thinks the market will head, right? And he might open trade today. Let's go see if he's actually opened anything. On zero-dated options, he's opened a bunch of puts on Oklo, on CRML. He's opened some puts on Circle. I'm not going to take those. A, because I didn't even see it. He's down on it. I'm sure it actually might work. But B, I just didn't get enough time to see the chart or, open up the option chain here. So that's one issue. Bots are fundamentally just faster than we are. So they can open up 5, 10, 20 different trades in the span of 2 seconds. It takes us at least a minute to figure out what the hell's going on, and then another minute to open the option chain, maybe 30 seconds to figure out where the market might head, right? So fine, George can open as many positions as he wants, and then from there he can take whatever plays he wants. But we better understand where the market is today using things like the week ahead. He's been bullish all week. He's waiting for a trigger right now. And if you're bearish, you should take this strike because that's where your best risk and reward is, right? So we can look at some data tools that we've built out or I built out for George to better understand where the market might head over the next couple trading days. You can also go to the analysis tab and better understand, okay, what are the events that are triggering him to buy puts or to buy calls, or what is he waiting for? And he's just either going to be buying shares or options. He's automatically buying puts because those charts probably look weak. If I look at Oklo right now, let's see if it's dumping. A lot of FUD, yeah, exactly. So Oklo, great. It's in a bearish downtrend. Like, he shorted again. I don't know why, right? Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I have no idea. I'm not going to take that trade just because we didn't have the time to go into that, right? But for the most part, he's been bullish on indices. He's been bullish on SPY. He's been bullish on QQQ. Earnings have been good, right? And he's saying right now it's institutional chops, so wait for a sweep on one side before taking the opposite direction, right? And so I think he's right. Like, this is going to be choppy for the next 2 minutes. Let's see what the 935 candle holds. He's already made some money on caramel puts or circle puts, sorry. If we had taken them in open, we might have made some money, but he's down on the other ones. He's made $57 by risking $132. Is that worthwhile? Probably not. Does it work for a bot? Definitely, because, bots are designed that way. Okay, so now that we know that this institutional sweep is happening, I want to see what George says about this, right? I'm going to have to reload this again because SPY's not showing up. Oh. Huh? Who said that? No one said that. All right, whatever. Okay, I'm going to open up the option chain because I think we're going to go to the 695 area because I think George is right on getting calls. And let's just see what happens. I already have a position on 695. I think I opened this yesterday before close. It's up $20. So nothing crazy. Was it worth the risk? I risked $100 to make $20. Maybe not. But I think 696 strike is probably a good risk and reward, right? But I don't want to buy it just yet. I want to see what George says, and I want to better see what happens at 935. So I'm just going to wait one more minute. I'll go to the 5-minute candle just to see what the hell's going to happen. Oh, and then I think we swung some Apple calls that I also should get out of at some point in time. Apple just died. All right, we'll wait. We'll wait. It might come back. Okay, so this is exactly what happens. 935, you got your sweep down. They're liquidating anyone who went long, or trying to liquidate anyone who went long around here. So we'll see if it kind of comes back up. What I want to see is a confirmation to the upside personally, right? I want to see, does it go above this? Because if it goes above this, you're going to go to the 693, then from 693 to 694, then from there to 695, and then from there, you're basically going to all-time highs. Because I know yesterday they swept a lot of liquidity on the downside. It's very unlikely, and trading is a game of probabilities. It's very unlikely that it actually goes down further unless very drastic news hits about wars, tariffs, or whatever it is. So I'm already biased towards the upside personally because they've stopped out a bunch of retail investors and other institutions yesterday. On the downside, you're only going to go up to get the other liquidity at the 693 area, which is what George was saying this morning, before deciding if you want to continue higher or reverse course, right? So 696C, I know we kind of waited on this, but I'm going to take 697 calls instead, just on the next candle. And let's see what happens. So let's go buy 4. I want to buy at 50. I want to get a good price. So usually I try to discount it. I want to get it at $50. So I'm going to place a limit buy for $50 for 4 contracts. And I'm just going to hit next. It's going to cost me $200. Great. Submit order. And let's see if that fills, right? As soon as that fills, ideally it fills because this goes down a little bit just so they can stop out a bunch of retail investors before reversing course. Then great, I'm happy. I'm happy with taking the 10%, 20%, whatever the number is. I'm not going to chase. If this suddenly jumps to like 695 in the next 2 minutes or whatever, I don't want to chase it. I don't want to spend $60 to make, $80. I want to spend $50 to make $80, right? That's how I think about these and the risk and reward. So guess what? My order just filled, right? It's now at $49.50. My order just filled. I already know this, right? I might have to reload my broker here because it's not always real time. This is exactly what I was saying. I know it's going to go down because they're going to stop a bunch of retail investors out, right? Great. My 697 calls at 4 contracts has filled. It's down a little bit. Fine. I'll just wait. And then I'll sell it when it's up, 20, 30% or whatever the number is. And I'll sell 2 of them because I want to get my capital early. I want to get that ROI early. And then I'll leave 2 positions or 2 contracts open to hit like $60, $70, $80, ideally $100. That way I've risked $50 to make $100, not $60 to make $80. Does that make sense to people? Am I just talking out of my ass? He's watching puts. All right, great. He's watching puts. He hasn't opened any positions on SPY, at least not from what I can see. But let's go check. By the way, just because he says he's watching something doesn't mean you should take it. He's just saying that that's what's likely going to happen for a scalp before going to the opposite direction, right? So I don't think he's taken any SPY trades. He's made $22. He's bought Microsoft shares, which I actually think is a right call because it was down 10%. He's got it at a discount. All right, so now I'm up $1, right? I'm up $1. I'm up $4. Great, I made $4 by risking $50 times 5. I'm up $5 now, right? And all I did was just take the bias from George. I understood what the chart was like. I knew what the previous day looked like, and I'm up, almost 10% on that trade. Now, if I were you, if I was a small retail investor with 1 or 2 contracts, I would take the win. I would take the win at 55. If I got it at 50, I'm taking the win at 55 and running. I'm not even going to trade for the rest of the day. But because I can stomach the risk, I will add to this position. If it goes to 48 or 44 or $40 again, which I don't think is going to happen, to be honest, then I'll add to that position. I'll get 8 contracts or 20 contracts, whatever the number I feel comfortable about, and then start scaling out of that position at $60, right? And so you just saw me do this with my own money, using the confluence from George, understanding the liquidity, understanding the chart, at least in a very basic, bare bones manner. And I'm not an intelligent investor. I'm not someone who's been trading for like 20 years. I'm not a hedge fund manager by any means. I'm just looking at charts. I just play what I see. And I saw that George was bullish. He had good direction. We rated a bunch of liquidity yesterday, and I bought the contract that I think is the right risk and reward, right? So great. I'm happy. I've made $10 now on that trade. Can I sell it? 100%. You should sell this if you're buying 1 or 2 contracts. Should you wait if you have runners or if you're buying more than 4 contracts? 100%. I think this is going to go to $1 in the next hour or so. So that's fundamentally how I use George. I just understand where he is looking at levels, where he's marking out the liquidity, and how his bias has been formed through all of my knowledge and Easy's knowledge and Tim's knowledge over the past year. And then I'll take the trades based on whatever he's saying, using my own signals and analysis and research, right? Because fundamentally, you got to do what you're comfortable with. If you're not comfortable trading these tickers or these assets, don't trade them. If you're not comfortable looking at the signals or analysis that George puts out, don't take it. If you're not a good scalper, I'm not a good scalper. I don't want to, play both sides every day and try to make, 10, 20 bucks. I'd rather make $100 from risking 50, right? So I'm looking to capture those bigger moves instead of the scalps that he's trying to, show people, right? So he's saying, hey, buy this because you can make 10, 20%. He might be right. But I think the upside is much more appealing. The risk and reward for me is personally better there than trying to risk $100 or $62 in the hope that I can make $66, right? That's not what I'm after. It's also Friday. I should point out Fridays on SPY, QQQ, all the indices and ETFs. It's pretty fucky. Like people will play a lot of games. Market makers will play a lot of games. Typically, you don't end red on a Friday, so this might take some time to materialize. But we'll see, right? I'm still up on this trade, by the way. Like I gave you guys exactly what price I wanted to buy it, how many contracts I'm buying, and when I'm looking to sell at $60, $70, $80, and $100, right? And I'll buy more if it drops to $40. Hell, that's a discount for me. I want to buy it. And I want to buy it at a discount, especially, right? So that's how I trade. But I'm not attached to this money. I could be down like another 10 grand this week, and I wouldn't care. I'd be like, cool, another day in the office. All right, now let's just see what happens. I gotta figure out how to sell this at some point in time. There, okay, I'll sell 2. I want to do 60, and I'll sell that at 60 so I can get $120 back out of the $200 I think that I risked. Great. I'll click done, and then I'll wait to see if that fills. And I'll also sell this one right now, but just because I want to make sure I can capture that. What was that? They're welcome. All right, I'm going to sell this one at 120 just so I can get another 120 bucks back. I only bought one because I bought it near close yesterday. Oh, then I have 704 calls that I swung from last Monday. So let's see if those end up doing anything or not. I don't think they will, but I've already sold a bunch of these earlier in the week. All right, now we wait for the sweep to happen. As I said, they'll come down, test this zone, kind of go back up. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So you could have taken Georgia signal of scalping 688p. I don't think that's worth the risk personally, but you do you. Let's see if he's opened anything else. I don't think he has. Or maybe he has. Sorry, I just had to meet them. No, he hasn't opened anything on SPY or SPX or QQQ. I think he's just saying it's going to consolidate, and that's totally fine. It's also Friday, so I want to make sure that we don't take too many trades on a Friday, just because I know there's a lot of manipulation that happens. And that's just experience. That's not me understanding how markets work. That's just me losing a lot of money over the past year on Friday especially. So in theory, you could have taken that scalp for 688p from George and made 10%, 20%, whatever the number is. But I do think we're going to go higher. I just don't know when. It could take all day. It could be in the next 30 minutes. It could happen in the next 5 minutes. I have no idea. So I just got to be patient. Same thing happened yesterday. I knew we were going to go test the 694 area, which we ended up doing at the end of the day. So that 692 call that I bought and I held basically all day ended up going from $87 or whatever that was, or maybe even cheaper, 46 bucks to like $220. That's what I ended up selling that yesterday. All right, there's probably too many people on the site, so we'll wait. While we watch that, let's go see what gold and silver are doing. Silver moving up. Yep, I knew silver calls that open probably would have hit. And gold, what is gold doing? Let's go find out. Gold is consolidating. All right. George's interested in calls again. Great. That helps me boost my confidence. Did this go down to 40? Oh, it's at 36. All right, great. I'm going to buy 2 more. 697, and then we'll get it at, what's a good price? I want to get a discount, so maybe I'll do 30. Yeah, maybe that's too far. Actually, might be fine. All right, let's see if they consolidate. And this is typically why you want to wait the first 15 minutes before you buy anything, but I want to jump the gun early because, I don't know, it's fun. Let's go see what he says. So if you have stop losses, I would highly encourage using them. I don't have stop losses, partially because I don't care. And the other thing is, I like the risk and reward. I think being able to get into a position and hold it all day it's kind of nice. It's exhilarating. I quite like it. Tammy, did you make some money on Rocket Lab? Is he even here? Oh, he is here. Did he buy Rocket Lab calls? Oh, yeah. Did you buy them at Open, Tim? I actually don't even know where he's typing. Oh, sick. All right, we'll wait for a sweep on Rocket Lab. Maybe I'll jump in if it comes back to this area. 200%, crazy. All right, there's the signal. All right, this is when you want to buy. You want to buy low, not high. Don't be an idiot like me, but whatever. Okay, this is when I would have entered, typically if I wasn't doing a live stream. But you could have made some money on the upside here as well. Now we watch, do they dump it in the other direction or do they not? One other thing I did, I realized earlier this week, I also have hedges. So I have 680 puts, only 2 of them, nothing crazy. So if we ended up dumping down quite a bit, these will actually be really nice. But on that bottom here, when George was starting to watch calls, like that would have been your entry to go on the upside. But let's see what happens. This is also a hella fun game to play. And then if I look at where the call wall was, is at 700. Are you going to get to 700 today? Unlikely. Are you going to go below 680? Pretty unlikely. So like you're stuck in this range. Can you play both sides? Probably. If it gets up here, you're looking to short. And if it gets down here, you're looking to go long. So you can play either side, whatever you want, whatever you're comfortable with. Some people like calls only. Some people like puts. I just play what I see, which is still a bias towards the upside. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll take the loss. I don't care. Zero emotions. Let's see. Oh man, our floating is down. All right, I'll fix that later. Oh, no, it's back. Great. Moo calls 600 strike. Damn. Expires January 2020. Let's go see what the price is like. $2026 0918. Whoa, that's a put. Sorry. 600 calls are $6,200. Damn. Actually, I might get one later. Let's go see what other things. SPY puts 659. Are you gonna get there? This looks like a hedge though. 4 million premium. It's not too bad. 320. Gold calls. This is a pretty small amount though. Silver calls, pretty small amount as well. This could be like one guy. It doesn't have to be an institution. It could be like one person with just a lot of cash. Silver puts 3.6 mils. I really like this one. I might just get some Moo commons, but we'll see. Before I look at SPY, let's look at QQQ. All right, going up. Great. So if you're closing above this, we all know this. You're going to 630, which is your next area. I'm going to mark that on my chart just so I know where it is. You're going to go to 634 soon, probably. Do you get there today or do you get there Monday? I don't know. We'll find out. Let's go see what SPY is doing. All right, it's doing the cup and handle. Agree with me, Easy? Cup and handle? Yep, looks like it. Great, there it goes. Boom shakalaka. All right, I'm up on my trade already. I already know. Let's go. All right, I made money on this. Yep. It's trying. Is the volume there? Let's go find out. It's neutral volume. That's not too bad. 680. See, great. He's already watching. Oh, also one thing I will say about George. He likes in the money options with low delta just because there's less volatility. And when volatility is high, you're buying like higher delta options. They will expire or they would like go through price changes more drastically versus something that's actually in the money. Did George say silver calls, Timmy? Oh, he's actually watching puts. Interesting. He's bought one share of Microsoft. Great. We'll see what that happens. And now he's watching silver puts, which actually could work. I don't know. All right. Hopefully someone bought it at $30 and they're up 20%, 30%, whatever that number is. There it goes. Come on, go higher. Go to 694. All right, what else has he got here? He's watching RUT calls, SPY calls, great. More confluence. If you want to risk $1,000 to make 2,000 on SPX, actually might be worthwhile. I just want to see this go higher to 694, maybe even 694.50, and then I'll start scaling on this position just because I think that's directionally right. I can see that. Yeah, silver puts. 90p? Oh, yeah, I see what he's saying. Okay. That's what I like about George. I don't have to even look at the chart. I take all of his trades, by the way, if I can. And so he's seeing a left shoulder, a head, and then maybe a right shoulder and go back down to this area. Could work, actually. They want to open on their position? Probably not. I just want to do 1 or 2 trades and get the hell out for the rest of the day. Because it is Friday. Let's look at SPY again. One thing I do like about TradingView, I can just have multiple like charts. So usually like this is my view. I just have George open on the left and then TradingView in the middle. And then I usually trade on my phone, but today I'm not because I wanted to do it on the call. All right, let's go back and see what's going to happen here. Did he open something else? He opened puts on Caramel again. Oh. And you made some money on Hood puts. Interesting. He's down $500 though. 24. Come on, George. Oh, he's buying more puts, which I think might be the wrong move, but we'll see. He might be right. Reddit puts. What the hell? What's Reddit doing? Oh, it's tanking. All right. All right, we'll see what happens. George is still saying calls, so I'm inclined to believe him. What's going on? What time is that Fed chair news? Oh, is it already announced? Sick. And then I don't know if that's made any impact on the market. Oh, Tesla wants to pop. It really wants to go up. Let's look at Tesla calls, Tesla options. I think I have one that I swung. Oh, I already sold it this morning, right? I think 430 strike could be a good one, but that's pretty expensive. So I'll probably go to like 435 or maybe 437.5. I already have 440 that I opened this morning after selling the 431s. Maybe I'll add to this. I don't know if it's worthwhile. What's Apple doing? Because if tech is leading, you're going to be bullish anyways. Apple wants to go back up as well. Yep. Also got a nice formation here. QQQ should be starting to go up soon. Kind of want AMD. I don't know, but George was pretty bullish on it if I remember right. If I look at the swings page. AMD 250 calls. Oh yeah, everything dropped this morning. I mean, I don't know if that was news or if that was because of something else. No idea. But he's been pretty bullish except for NVIDIA. No, he should have taken them, huh? But I think it's going to roll over. I do think it's going to roll over pretty soon. Yeah. Great. Yeah, it's high beta, so that makes sense. I want to see this formation kind of complete. Silver puts. Oh yeah, silver puts would have printed when George said, what was it, 90p? 90p, yeah. It would have been up 15% or so. So I don't know if that was worth the risk. Okay, he's still saying calls, so I'm going to wait and just be patient. George, how are you? Good? Dude, I still am shocked that my little algorithm works, man. Like when we were building at the Easy and Tim, like it's fucking nuts. How does he see that? How do you? He's like, Joe, yeah, just buy calls. Oh, cool. And he also on the stream, like he's like, buy puts here, and yeah, you would have made some money. Now he's saying calls still, so I like that. That's the one other thing I don't like about Fridays. Like outside of some high beta tickers, you don't have a lot of volume. Like if I look at the volume profile, let's open that up. And by the way, I've tried like every single friggin' indicator that exists out there and none of them work. If you see the volume here, like this was huge, right? And now you have like one-fifth the volume. Silver imploding like George said it would. Oh man, I should have taken that trade. Ah, whatever. There's always another one. What about gold? What did he say on gold? $469 puts, $800. I don't know if it's worthwhile. Silver, we saw it at 118, I think. Now it's at 216. Great, you would have made $100. Oh, should have taken that one. All right, now we watch the others. One other thing I will say, if the fundamentals on, because George looks at the USD, for example. Yeah, George was right on the red puts as well. But because George looks at the USD, the bonds, VIX, as well as like all the other tickers and how they're kind of diverging, if at all, from others, he can kind of see the moves better than we can, right? Because like for me to open up 5 different charts and look at the delta or the divergences between each one of them is pretty hard. But for a bot to do it, that's going to be much easier, right? Because he can look at like 50, 100, 300 different tickers and assets and then better understand where the money is moving and where the volume is. And he tries to pick the plays with the highest volume. So the thesis there is volume will precede any big events. And so if you have a lot of sell side volume, you're going to go down. If you have a lot of buy side volume, you're going to go up, right? But let's see what happens here. I think one of the reasons that George hasn't opened a position on SPX or SPY or QQQ, he's waiting for a retest of this zone before you end up going to the opposite direction. But I will say if we lose 689, I will just cut that position that I have open for like a loss. I don't know, whatever the loss is. If it's 50%, it's 50%. If it's like 80%, it's 80%. If it's above 80, I just don't care. I'm just going to hold it. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see what he does. All right, I think he might be actually close to opening a trade on SPY. I just see it in my logs here. Did Okla roll over like we thought it would? Boom, there it goes. Good job, George. I should have taken that Okla put with you, but I didn't because they didn't get a chance. Oh, that's from yesterday, isn't it? Caramel puts? What did he do here? Yeah, I think he was right on those puts too. Wow, George, better than I am, man. What do you do on Reddit? Yep, dumping. Google. This better be dumping. Oh, almost. Almost there. I think he got there too early, but I do see it going down. All right, let's go back to SPY. Does it go up? Are we going to get that formation? We'll find out. I hate chop days. This is why I don't play on Fridays. I don't know why I decided to play today. Oh, well. Oh, well. Another day at work. CTS? Oh, SATS. Yeah. Whoa, George made some money on caramel puts. I like it. I like it. You probably saw a volume pickup on some of these other tickers like Caramel and why is our site slow today? I'll fix that later. I'm liking how he just found high volume tickers. He's like, yeah, we should trade these today instead. Tesla, when it's stuck between two levels, I just don't take anything. I just wait until one side gets rated before I go to the other. So in between zones, I just hate trading it because you could go either way, and I don't want to lose whatever it is, $300. Wow, George would have been paid big on those silver and gold puts, but he didn't take them. I think they're too expensive for him. Oh, hold on. I got to restart our server. One sec. Gold is nuking it. Silver's actually holding up pretty well. You might get something like this on silver pretty soon. But we gotta hold, or silver has to hold that 89.10 level. Sorry, I just restarted the service. I gotta reload it. Okay, let's see what SPX is doing while we wait. Chunking. It's consolidating. All right, we'll see what happens. No, now he's bearish. He's saying you've lost a key level. If you want to scalp some puts, you probably could do it here. I do think it's holding, so I'm still biased on the upside because it is holding here relatively nicely. Volume is picking up, so I like that. I don't care what kind of volume we get, as long as it's one side and one side only. It's much easier to play that direction with the volume. So one of the first signals would have been here. It's like, oh, you're gonna nuke us because you got a lot of volume on the sell side. But again, George can see that. It's hard for at least me. I don't know how that shit works, so I just wait. I'm going to remain bullish until we lose 691. If we close below this, I'll probably get 689 puts just to make up the loss. That's my George portfolio. So if I remember right, it started with like $800 back in, it was like the end of December. And then that went like 500% over a couple of weeks. And then I ended up withdrawing like a bunch. So I'm starting with another $1,000 effectively here. Makes sense. All right, volume is picked up. Still bullish on this. We'll see if he's right. One note about the SPX and RET data: sometimes it's delayed by like 5 minutes. I can't change that. I've tried negotiating, and I just don't sometimes get the data back. If you do see options unavailable, like that's usually our data provider, like nuking their data stream for what it's worth. It's on an error on our end. Yes, George did buy 626 puts on QQQ. Interesting. But he's saying calls on SPY, so maybe it's worth watching. Is he right on QQQ? I don't know. Let's go find out. Actually, he might be right because we've lost that level at 626. Isn't that an old call wall easy? Yeah. Yeah, okay, so you're going to go back down to the 622 area. I see the logic that George is going through. Yeah, ideally he bought puts and then QQQ. I think those are worthwhile, the QQQ puts. I don't know if I'm willing to take that risk just because I'm already in the SPY position, but if you haven't opened anything, it might be worth watching. Data is delayed, so I'm going to ignore that. I'm going to look at this instead and look at the chart. My thesis here with George's confluence is playing out so far, so we'll see. Let's go back to SPY. I've got 6 of these at a pretty low average, so I'm going to wait and see what happens. Whoa, look at that volume. Good job, George. Good job, buddy. Well played, dude. Should have taken those too. Went from like 112 or whatever to 172. All right, data's late still. Still watching those. Extreme volume. That's great. You're swooping buy side. Buy side is always at the top. Sell side is at the bottom. And then he's saying that gamma is negative, but we're in a neutral trend, and he has 0 or 15% discomfort here. So we'll see if he takes anything. Let's see if these actually end up going anywhere. We will find out. Nope, he's down on those puts. We will see. 4 minutes. I like it when George loses money. I love it. Is it up to that fourth? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I have that 1,440 lotto that I have. Where did I get this at? I can't even remember. How do I see it? All right, I'm going to sell this one because I have one already. I'm going to sell it at 1.20. Yeah, George was saying Tesla calls earlier, huh? I mean, I swung them because of him. Yeah, 425C, great. All right. I'm going to see if this, actually I'm going to do it at 1.00, whatever. I'm going to see if that fills. Submit order, great. Boom, done. Go back to SPY. Give me that pop. Give me that pop. Yeah, I don't want to trust him, though. That's the thing. He's an idiot. There's no way he's right on these calls. Oh, they went up like another $1. Crazy. Yeah, I like it. I like it. That's why I bought those 697 calls. In hindsight, I should have cut them and got the 696 ones instead, but whatever. That's one other thing I like about George. He'll cut his losses or respect his stop loss at 30% or 12%, depending on how volatile it is. And then he'll buy a lower strike if he thinks that the direction is agreed upon. Give me that pop to 695, please. I think it's coming. I just want to see it consolidate a little bit more here and then go up. I like how everyone just messages me on Discord, being like, are you taking anything? I'm like, no, dude. It's Friday. I'm going to watch. Except for the one that I opened this morning. I got to look at this data problem here. I'll leave that with me. I'll figure that one out. Too many penalties. Yeah, because you fucked up, George. You probably bought puts at the bottom. Same thing here. George opened up Rocket Lab puts before I do anything here. Let's see what Rocket Lab looks like. Why are my drawings not being removed? Oh, it's because I'm drawing more. I'm an idiot. RKLB, let's see. I could see that. I could see that. I'll probably go down to the 80 area, probably. Most likely. Most likely it'll go to that 80 area. Is that his target? Probably. And Canva puts, or Caravana puts, whatever. Whoa. Good job, George. That's crazy, dude. All right. Let's go back to SPY. There it goes. What did I tell you? Boom. All right. Whoever took those 697 calls, and if you average them like I did, or if you average or you took that play when it was like sub 30, great. You made like $10 per contract. I just want to see this go higher to 695. That's when I'll start skilling into this position. Do it. Is gold and silver recovering? Probably, right? Yep. That's what I thought. Gold should be recovering as well. Yep. That's what I thought. And Tesla should be up. Almost there. And SPY. Let's go to that again. Almost there. Almost there. Do it. Do it. And hopefully these streams are helpful. I want to build everyone's confidence in trading. I know there's a lot of newcomers and people that haven't traded for too long. That's totally fine. Got to start somewhere. In hindsight, I should have taken that 692 call. He did say that yesterday too. He's like, buy 692 calls if I look at the swings page. And this is a page available to every subscriber. You can exactly see on Thursday at 3 p.m. every Thursday what positions he wants to get into. Anything above, at least for me, like anything above 80% confidence, I'll just take it. I don't care. I'll just take it above that confidence level because I know more often than not he's right. And trading is a game of probabilities. So if I'm right 51% of the time, I'm going to be profitable for the most part, compared to being wrong, 51% of the time. So that's how I've been treating this data. It's like it just helps me better plan where the market might be heading. But again, you should look at the charts. So you should better understand exactly what he was saying. So if I look at Microsoft calls, in theory, like we should be at the 400 area today because we were at below that yesterday. 435 calls would have been in the money. Like you would have not lost money on that trade, which is kind of nice. And let's look at another one that George says would have been nice. 420 calls. We just saw Tesla pop to, 431 almost. Great. He also said Google puts 335. Actually, those might have been dead. They might have worked for a little bit in the morning and then died. And then his targets are usually pretty right too. AMD 250 calls. I want to see this above 250 ideally. It's almost there. It's flagging to go higher. AVGO. Well, that's not high confidence. I'm going to look at that Oxy. Let's see what that is doing. Went up, came back down. All right. What did he say on Oxy? 45.5. It actually might go higher. We'll see. It might take all day though. BA calls. Oh, we got news yesterday, so I don't know if that's the best move for it, but we'll see. Yeah, anything above 80% confidence, I just blindly take. But I'm okay with the risk. You do your own analysis and research. I would recommend that. But to me, anything above 80% confidence, like I'm just taking them. It's like 86% confidence, 81% confidence, 84% confidence. Like I'm just taking them on Thursday afternoons. And we'll go back to the homepage, see if he has any other signals for us, but probably not. Still watching those calls, hasn't done anything on SPY or QQQ, totally fine. He's saying it's consolidating, it's chopping. Gamma is now positive, so when gamma is positive, just for everyone's reference, all dips are bought. When gamma is negative, all pops are sold. And so if you see this change to negative, whenever that happens, and it does happen intraday, then any pop that you get, you want to short. And if it's positive, any dips that you get, like here, you want to buy. So that's fundamentally how that works. And Easy actually worked on this gamma integration, so kudos, man. Well done. I'll stay on the stream for 5 more minutes and cut, or not cut, but stop it. But, for the most part, his confluence was pretty right on the calls when he flipped. And then now I'm just waiting to see if my little chart here drawing helps or gets to that 694, 60 area. I think it will. It might just take another hour. I don't know. Did Apple go back up? I want to see this kind of go back to the 260, 270 area. Oh, look at that. My drawing kind of worked out there. Cool. Let's go to 270. Gold should be recovering. I do have a worry here that it's going to get sold off. So what I'm seeing now is kind of the opposite from what we saw before. I'm seeing like this head and shoulder pattern. But let's see if this gets invalidated. If we close above 466 on gold, I'll take some calls. And same thing with silver. If we start closing above 91 basically, then I'm going to take 100 calls for the day. All right, SPY chart is coming to fruition slowly. I'm just going to wait. Yeah, hopefully there's a good rundown on George. Volume is picking up, so I'm happy with that. He was right on the calls when he flipped. And let's see if his trades actually did anything on Rocket Lab. Did he make money or did he lose it? Let's find out. He made some money, I think. Yeah, $388. Look at that. He lost some money on Caravana puts. Totally fine. 30% stop loss. Respected it. Moved on. I like it. Give me the pop. Give me the pop to 694.6. Yeah, George was right on those Rocket Lab puts, huh? That is crazy. What did he say about IWM? Oh, options unavailable. All right. Stupid data provider. He's opening more puts on Rocket Lab. That kind of worries me. But that's fine. Let him do what he wants. Oh my God, Tesla. All right, should have taken those calls when George said that I should, or whatever. RKLB, what's happening there? More liquidity hunts before going down. I see the logic, George. I like it. Yeah, I think he got stopped out on the sun. So that's one of the other things he doesn't know about. He's getting better at it, but he doesn't know about stop hunts like this, right? So when it pops up a lot and he gets stopped out, that's fine. I think directionally he might be right on it nuking further. That's a 90 EMA. It's probably a good call. You got a question about gamma exposure easy. I don't think it's at the spot price. I think it's either below or above it usually. So positive would be below, and then negative would be above. All right. We just got to see this pop and then make sure that we can scale out of that, or at least for me, I can scale out of that SPY position when it gets to that 694, 60 area. But I do think we're going to go to like 695, maybe even higher than that. So I'm just going to hold these until we get there. And good job on the IWM calls, Timmy. Well done. I'm glad he got blocked on RUT. There's too many penalties that stacked on him. He probably lost a lot of trades on the direction side. That's totally fine. He's saying they're going to sweep the buy side on Apple. So look at 260, 270 area. Amazon, gold put still, Microsoft calls. He's watching them. He's waiting for a trigger. He's probably waiting for a retest here before he buys something. Okay, makes sense. NVIDIA puts. Makes sense. Left, head, right. I'm shocked how often he's right, honestly. I get nervous when he's right. Yeah, I can see that rolling over. And we'll go back to SPY and then we'll cut the stream. All right, so this is exactly what I drew. Inverse left head, shoulder, you got your head, you got your inverse right shoulder, come to this zone, and then fly higher. And of course, George's confluence on the calls help, but he's going to wait to see what he's looking at 692C still. But I think he's waiting for a retest, and then he'll take the opposite direction. But well done, George. He's staying out of the choppiness. I like it. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did see that. The 650 ones. Yeah, 659. Yeah, he picked them up. Yeah, you got them. All right, cool. Yeah. I actually like this for a hedge, but how much does that cost? Let's go see. Pretty good hedge because I do have a lot of calls. So I did swing like 700 calls and 711 calls for March 6th. So I might hedge them with a put of equal weight. We'll see. Yeah, it's always Friday. I don't know why I play Fridays, but here we are. Okay, he's taking a higher strike, or he's looking at a higher strike now, 693C. So he's saying, okay, you retested the zone, you're likely going to go higher. I like that. I love that because that's exactly how I trade. And gamma flipped to negative, so potentially all pops, well, most likely all pops will be sold until this flips to positive again when all dips are bought. So we'll see how that ends up. I love the real-time data though. It's so nice. Yeah, if he keeps re-entering Rocket Lab puts, he actually might be right because I do worry that this is going to cup and handle and go up, but I do see his thesis here. It's like, okay, you swept the highs, you rated a bunch of liquidity at 89, and you're going to kind of go down more. To me, this is a dump, but like it's kind of on trend, so I'm not worried about it. Yeah, it was. That's why I took those 631 calls. What did he say yesterday? Let's go find out. Oh, yeah. Oh man, it's been $100 on those, or 122% on those Tesla calls. Crazy. Oh yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Good job, George. Yeah, head swings are more right than wrong for the most part. That's what I'm saying. I just yeah, that's why I just take anything above 80% confident. I'm just blindly taking it personally. You do what you want, but he's directionally been pretty right, so I'm happy with that. What was the other thing you took? Goldman Sachs calls, Dems? Fair enough. I like it. George is recovering. He's making money on Rocket Lab puts. I'll fix this bug too. When he's scaling out of position and just shows that it's multiple trades, I'll figure out what to do there. I just haven't cracked my head around it yet. All right. Well, hopefully this live stream was helpful and how I use George and how I trade. At least a quick rundown, and we'll do more of these to build up the educational content for everyone so we can get comfortable trading. But glad to see people that made some money on Rocket Lab puts or IWM calls or Tesla calls while we were going through it. And hopefully this was helpful. Chat soon, y'all.